Trained and implemented in deciphering surveys. But I don't need statistics to know that 9 out of 10 people are running around this nation masquerading as revolutionaries, when in actuality, they are not. But they ought to be. See, from the bricks to the sticks, if we care enough, we could change this country. Stop corrupt corporations, the rich, the 1%. If we actually raised our voices, took to the streets, grabbed our neighbors, and acted instead of stopping at the basic vent, from which we normally return to our daily routines of being pissed off for about 5 minutes while watching the news or talking over water coolers, then continuing to be pissed on by deteriorating, alright, you're making me nervous. Then continuing to be pissed on by deteriorating government fooling us for the next 23 hours and 55 of each day. Some play lotto hoping to be in it to win it, but in their very real lives are losing in the worst way and don't even have a dog in the fight. Simply Google the school to jail pipeline and the corruption that created the recession and you might be on to learning a little bit about what I'm saying. We're worse off than slavery in many ways. And I'm just a half Panamanian, half Honduran, American-born girl who grew up on the streets of Washington Heights in the borough of Manhattan of New York City with a little voice. But ask anybody in my hood and they'll tell you I'm exercising my choice and exercising my civic duties with the choice to pick up the slack for anyone around me who lacks the gumption to be about that life, of what it means to be a real walking, talking, breathing, living citizen of the United States of America. However this country came to be, and whatever it has done over the years, too many people have died endeavoring to claim that American dream. Too many people have been murdered because they truly knew what that means and were willing to fight for it. Don't you see? We're disrespecting the lives of the men and women whose shoulders we stand upon. On top of those shoulders, we can look out across the crowd of the enemy within our own republic, who blocks us from accessing that true freedom. Our government is currently running as a day-to-day play-by-play of some type of Wizard of Oz show, fictional. Whilst millions still migrate here expecting the streets to be paved in gold because of the dreams we've all been sold. Fuck what you've been told. Don't you dare step a foot on that yellow brick road without recognizing who the men behind the curtain really are and what they intend to do to you. They're selling our freedom to the highest bidders, like slaves were sold in Africa long ago. Like slaves were sold on Wall Street just miles from where we stand. Like slaves are still sold on Wall Street just miles from where we stand. The new slaves are the millions in poverty, the working class and the incarcerated. So I'll always metaphorically hold up my hand, fist clenched, high in the air, until there is true equality, because this country isn't fair. When 545 people who are supposed to be elected and appointed to represent us, 1 president, 9 Supreme Court judges, and 535 Congress reps do not work for the people who they are charged to defend. Instead, they work for the checks. From the lobbyists, corporations, and special interest groups, these little ones behind the curtains running the show, manipulating our laws and pimping out our troops. But they're gonna have to put a ransom on my life and brand me with a double S like they did in 1844, because I'm going to continue to be a slave stealer. My life is not up for the bid, and if I can help it, neither is yours. I beg of each and every one of you to join forces and kick open the doors to true equality, liberty, and freedom. If our government doesn't operate for the people and by the people, then why do we need them? Oh, say, can you see that this country is not what it claims to be? Rampant oppression wrapped in images of freedom and liberty. Or have you been blinded by the dawn's early light? Oh, you're waiting to be embraced by the depths of water and begin to put up a fight. Do you know what you can do? Be aware of your rights. There's critical information flowing underground, but it's not in your sight, so it's out of your mind. No room there to think of the future. Putting all your energies into preserving the things we're used to, well, what happens when all the things that we so proudly hail up and disappear and our homes become our jails? Who will you be at the twilight's very last gleaming? One who took up space, or one who filled life with meaning? Are you one of the many that pledge allegiance to this land's flag, hyped up designs on an overrated rag whose broad stripes resemble my forefathers' backs, the crack of whips when overseas attacked, and me struggling to get by simply because I'm Hispanic or black? Me pledge allegiance to the flag. Picture that. And those bright stars, 50 sitting pretty, I refuse to follow them singing the devil's ditty. They will guide you into broken promised lands. Open your eyes to find you're in the enemy's hands. Through the perilous fight, you've been misled. The opposition isn't who you thought. The noose has slowly been lowered around your head. You're fighting against slavery, but you've already been bought. The prison industrial complex, the school to jail pipeline, and the sword. Depend on Uncle Sam, this is what we've been taught, but these ain't the things for which our forefathers fought. In 1776, they watched ramparts, but if it comes to war again, we'll see body parts streaming. You may be one of the only left to do the grieving. Do nothing now and regret you didn't believe me. The powers that be won't be concerned with who got Armani or Versace. When they press the buttons gallantly, all the BMWs and Lexuses in the world will not help you flee the tragedy. I have a quest to see revolution manifest. You don't want to see bombs bursting in air, serving up mushroom clouds, because now we're too advanced for rockets with red glare. The evening news gives proof every night that we are headed in the wrong direction. But you got the don't give a fuck infection. You got it from your parents, passing it on to your next of kin. And the flag, it may still be here in the end, but this ignorance epidemic won't bring us no resurrection. Think of the future society. What and where would you want to be? A re-enchained slave? 6 feet under in your grave? The result will be your fault unless you revolt and send the devil back to his cave. There is no hope for maintaining our freedom. Fight for what you believe in. The time is now. Step up and be brave.